and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come on Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our.
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
Yes, good afternoon. It's just about 2 minutes or so past 1 p.m. It's time for Open Forum, a program that has been designed specifically for you, our dear listener, where we discuss, topical issues, we reach resolutions, we interact, and, come through with open dialogue as regards, all of the trending stories from last week, Thursday, till today. And today is no exception. The phone line is open from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and it's for you to call in. Let's have a conversation. And also I'll be sharing updates as regards all of the hot topics that have been trending as regards politics, current affairs, economy, business, financials, whatever, energy, however it comes. This is Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra, and I hope I'm still expecting one or two fellows to join me as the show progresses. But in the meantime, it's just you and I. Oh yes, there. Okay, I was hoping I was going to have, someone should be joining in any moment from now. Matthew Okodua is in the building, and he should be here any moment from now. But before then, it's just you and I for now. My name is Omobola Sandra. I mentioned that earlier on. So we'll be running this from 1 p.m. till 3 p.m. 2 hours of open dialogue with you. The phone line will be open all through the 2 hours. You can send in WhatsApp messages, text messages, and we'll also be live on Facebook and YouTube. So you can also share your thoughts and your contributions via Facebook. There's a lot that we're going to be discussing today. And not to worry. As we introduce, all of the stories that we're going to be looking at, you can just call in and share your thoughts as regards all of these stories. And if we do not, address any, report of interest for you, you can also call in and bring it to our attention, and we have a conversation about it. It's basically open mic, all right, just for you to call in, because we understand that there is a need for us to keep the conversation going. So someone somewhere good who has the capacity or the authority to actually make things right or make things better would actually make the decision, and will listen to the voice of the people. All right, and that's why Open Forum was specifically designed for. All right, so we, like I mentioned earlier, we have a plethora of stories that we're going to be looking through this afternoon. So I will be introducing the stories one after the other, and as we move on, I'll also be giving insights into some of these stories. Like I mentioned earlier, Matthew Okodua would also be joining in any moment from now, also to share his thoughts as regards the stories that we're going to be looking through. So it is Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM, and you are welcome.
Dear Nigerians, I am determined, I repeat, to give you the affordable and reliable power.
The stakes are higher than ever.
Government policy does not support youth in this country. So if you say you have any idea, one day, one way or the other.
The conversations are louder than imagined. The expectations are greater. The demand for quality blueprints needed to make informed decisions is constantly being reviewed.
You can't start hiding under party or anything. We are leaders that are entrusted by our people. Come and speak on their behalf.
The Situation Room on 98.3 Mainland FM provides the platform where all of your demands are met. Issue-based conversations about politics, policies, leadership and governance in Nigeria and around the world. Join us every Mondays through Fridays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we engage and interact towards setting the agenda for proper accountability and public engagements. The Situation Room is here. We welcome the roommates.
When your whole world comes crashing down, please look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains waking up.
What'd you have for breakfast? We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Thank you for staying with us. It is still open forum on Mainland 98.3 FM, so let's get into it. As I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of stories to look through as it is, open forum. We're going to be looking through a lot of stories. All you have to do is call in and share your contribution as regards all of the stories that we are going to be treating. And as I mentioned as well, if we're unable to, treat or bring up a story that is a major cause for concern for you, feel free to, call in and bring it to our attention. Now we have a conversation about it. I have Matthew Okodwa with me in the studio. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining.
Good afternoon.
All right. So we'll start off with this rather interesting story. I have here that the president has placed a 3-month ban on foreign trips for ministers and others. So just a quick context to that, or a quick background to that. In January, the president issued an order to reduce the number of people accompanying him on both local and foreign trips, noting that his delegation members should not exceed 25 for local trips and 20 for international trips. So what we have now is the president has banned ministers, heads of agencies, and other government officials from embarking on public-funded foreign trips. And this ban will last for 3 months in the first instance and will take effect from April 1, 2024. And this was contained in a letter dated and signed by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and addressed to the SGF, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. So, this is something that a lot of people had been, advocating for. The conversation has always been there. The amount that is expended on public trips. Just recently, there was the controversial public finance management meeting that was held by the Ministry of Finance, where all commissioners of finance on all 36 states were in attendance. That was held in the UK. And there was a lot of controversy around that one. So with this now, first off, what is your take on that? And then secondly, the 3 months, what do you think of why it should be 3 months? Should it be 3 months? Are you okay with 3 months? Or is this something that should be made, longer?
Yeah, well, let's say it's a good thing to know that Mr. President is listening to public comments on some of his activities or the activities of his ministers, and is responding in like manner. Whether the 3 months is enough or not, he may have his reasons why he said 3 months. But for me, I probably would say a year in the first instance would have been better.
Okay.
But 3 months is for me.
But why should there be a timeline at all to
he
it?
He has his reasons. He's able to tell us why he said 3 months or not. But at least for the ministers or the MDAs to know that it's no more business as usual. You don't just wake up and say I'm going on a official trip, some of which may not just be of any benefit to the economy. Take a look at the finance minister and commissioners meeting in London last time. Well, the content of the course of the program might be very useful, but why London for Nigerian commissioners of
to discuss public
management in Nigeria? So in fact, I would have expected the president to go further, that the commissioner himself or herself, and the minister himself or herself, and the commissioners that attended that meeting should be barred for the next 1 year from traveling, but they have wasted public funds. You see, we're looking for a situation where the president will send a signal that this is not business as usual. You don't waste public fund. Which hotel? Is it the hotel itself? Is it the city of London itself that is giving the lecture, or human being that is giving the lecture? So why do you, even if you do it in Benin, or you do it in Lokoja, you do it anywhere in Lagos, or if you don't want to come to Lagos, you don't want to stay in Abuja, I think they will still benefit from that course.
Yeah, but the controversy around that is the fact that we're going to discuss public finance management, and with that kind of expenditure that was done on that particular one, that does not say anything as regards managing finances.
It's
contradictory to whatever it was that they went to do over there. 36, and all of these 36 commissioners.
They have their codes. They may have some. How do you call them now? Is it hangers on, people who are attending to them?
Who would also go with them?
Go with extra codes and the rest of them. That's a big chunk of money, going out to them. But again, this is political era, and the politicians, especially when you put so much mark on corruption, they want to do other things that cannot be considered as corruption to still make their money. So going abroad just on a frivolous, trips, is another way of making money without being tagged that you are corrupt. So that is the essence of all these things.
All right. Well, I trust that we all remember very clearly the COP28 situation where, almost 600 Nigerian,
close to 600 Nigerian, but
close to 600 Nigerian,
490 something, which was still too
even
many.
490 something is still it's too much.
It's a lot to consume my money. What did they all go there to do? If I were Mr. President, I will ask each person to give me a report of the activities he carried out in UAE.
What was the essence?
What did you go to do?
Yes, of all these people.
The result of your attendance.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we also remember the COP28 controversy where over 500 Nigerian officials, where they said, of course, 490 something were the ones that were sponsored by public funded, by the government. But then, from that, there was a lot of controversy from that. And then there was also the report from the Malawian president who said, that he would be attending virtually. So it opened the eyes of a lot of people to the fact that
you could attend virtually. You don't need to carry everybody there.
You don't even need to be there yourself.
Yes.
All right, and there was also the conversation as regards COP28 is something that may or may not really have concerned us. Exactly, because it's not something that will have a problem of
climate change.
Climate change
unique to Nigeria. It's not
exactly. So why we had to expend such an amount of money to send all of these people to go and have a conversation that it wasn't really. Although there was also the conversation. We need to go there in order to be able to network, establish relationship for FDIs, foreign direct investments, and all. But with this suspension now, or with this 3-month ban on foreign trips by ministers and others, how do we know, or how do we follow up on this and ensure that this actually is something that would actually work or run through? Are we going to save money? What exactly the impact of this ban?
Obviously, not that I said 3 months might be small, But the president has his priorities. He knows why he said 3 months in the first instance. Because I don't expect that more than 5 ministers and up to 5 ministers and MDA heads and the rest of them, up to 20 might travel within 3 months. So 3 months is just like starting point. Let's see what happens. But I thought if an action like that was going to be taken, it would be taken say for 1 year. And we know exactly. But that there will be a proviso, just as it is, that if it is that crucial, you apply to the president 2 weeks before it takes place.
All right. Well, the letter indicating the ban read in part, and I quote, Mr. President has concerns about the rising cost of travel expenses borne by ministries, departments and agencies of government, as well as the growing need for cabinet members and heads of MDAs to focus on their respective mandates for effective service delivery. Why the need to always have to go out? That's another conversation again.
I just told you why the need. The need is to make money.
For themselves or for the country?
Not for the nation, for themselves. Esther Coach, that's all.
That's all. It's all right then. Well, considering the current economic challenges and the need for responsible fiscal management, the president has given a directive to place a temporary ban on all public funded international trips for all federal government officials at all levels for an initial period of 3 months, effective from 1st of April 2024. He also added that government officials who intend to go on any public funded foreign trip must seek and get presidential approval at least 2 weeks before embarking on any such trip, which must be deemed absolutely
necessary. Must be absolutely necessary.
That's it. Absolutely necessary. So what are your thoughts as regards that? I mean, this is something that a lot of us have been clamoring for. The conversation has always been there. The fact that we spend way too much on foreign trips, especially on medical tourism for a lot of our government officials. But then, what do you think? Let's have a conversation. 0913 6000 410 0913 6000 410. That is the number to call for text messages and WhatsApp messages. 0913 6000 430 0913 6000 430. Don't forget, we're also live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can drop your comments in the live chat section as well. 3 months ban on foreign trips for heads of MDAs. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please turn down the volume of your...
I'm Engineer Oladapo, from Pangu.
Okay, Engineer Oladapo, please go on.
The presidency decision is welcome decision.
Okay.
Welcome development. Yeah.
Okay.
And I hope the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should please take it up. It's a welcome development to the country, and it's going to make the country to take a lot of billions of dollars if it can be even for 1 year. Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
All right, amen. Thank you. Please stay with us. We still have a lot of other stories coming up. Thank you. Okay. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, man.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Joe.
Yes,
Alhaji Zubair. Oh, apologies. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. You know, this issue, like you already said, Nigeria has been clamoring on this issue. We have been mentioning it. We have been, expressing our grievances on this particular, reckless spending. You understand? So, let's appreciate our president for listening to the yearning of, of Nigerians for coming along with us, because we expect this thing is supposed to be on ground all along. Especially when the Senate people continue to buy SBU and whatever. We have been saying it. You ask us to tie our belt, and you are not tightening your belt. It's not done. You are governing us. The responsibility of the governor, or whoever is being the government, is to, take care of his people. The subsidy you are talking about, it is we that we are paying. We are paying for this, and you are spending it anyhow. So, but let's give kudos to him. I hope he can continue on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Zubair. I appreciate. Well, I guess it is a welcome development for everyone. Anything that would, save us the little amount of money that we can save is actually a welcome one. Well, as we say, it is open forum, so the entirety of the program is for the listener to share their contributions as regards the many stories that we're going to be treating. We still have a host of other stories to look at. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My name is Tunde from Oᴘᴇ.
All right, Mr. Tunde, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. In fact, we are doing a great work over there. And let me greet your guest.
Yes.
Your guest already said it all. For me, I don't say anything the federal government are doing that can celebrate. What a lot of people are saying, look inward. 1 year is okay. If they can use it 3 years, if anybody wanted to give us something in Nigeria, let them come to Nigeria, hold the meeting. No matter if the government is doing, I can't celebrate it because all the we are expecting this thing. Now people will be calling it, I celebrate it. Normally it's your development, but I can't celebrate it. Our only looking what make us happy, that let everybody see the impact in Nigeria. All the money they are carrying, spending around, spend it in Nigeria. If they are doing that one in Nigeria, most of the money they can use for another thing. That's it. For me, I can't celebrate it, but to work on development chance. We need more things like that. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate. Okay. Well,
let me just follow in that gentleman's contribution.
Yes.
The thing we have to look at that. Why do we always go out in all these places? Is because things work there. Now, the president, after stopping this thing, it will use for at least for 3 months. We use it to appraise this question: why do we always go out? Because things work. So he will now give order that things should work in Nigeria. Fine, let the electricity should work, road transportation should work, security should be perfect. This is when people will now be coming to Nigeria instead of going. How many ministers from UK? You see coming to Nigeria to come and stage conference, a UK conference. How many ministers from even West Africa countries come to do conference in Nigeria? Conference that solely their own personal matter. They don't. US ministers, they will not come except 1 or 2 that come to look for investments.
And it's usually one particular person who goes round. Anthony Blinken, always everywhere.
So the fact is that the things that are working there, that are attracting us, why can't we make it work? Okay, let's take a look at medical tourism. We are not saying Nigeria should start developing its own medicine. The medicines are there. We have our doctors. We just
have the personnel.
We have the personnel. Then they put the structure in place, the infrastructure in place. That instead of you going out, you stay in. Then people from other countries may even come here.
All right. Just as
it should work.
Yes, I mean, if at the end of the day we do not get any results from this ban, I don't know what exactly. Well, so cautiously optimistic, I guess. Aside from that, other stories that we have, let's also look at this report, or this story rather, from Chief Emeka Anyaoku, who said, and I quote, "Nigeria is doomed without new constitution." And there's a lot to take away from that one. It wasn't the only one that made a similar statement or so, but then there was an event that was attended by a host of confab delegates who lamented the recurring wastage of billions. Lamented the recurring wastage of billions of naira on constitution amendments by the National Assembly, and sought an end to the unending exercises without commensurate results. Matthew Kodwa, in the past 20-something years, we have amended our constitution about 5 times. And the conversation has been around, these amendments. What impacts have they had?
I was going to ask that. What do we desire in a new constitution? The 4 times we have amended it, what was amended? Things that don't matter, color, this, that, they don't matter. We are looking for restructuring. Let's reinvent Nigeria. Let's reinvent in Nigeria through our constitution. Let the Nigerian people decide how they are going to relate. Let the Nigerian people decide who is going to rule us. How are we going to choose our leaders? These are the things we are looking for. But the question that I have not been able to get the answer to is who we amend it. This set of politicians, or who? I cannot see this set of politicians giving us a good constitution. So we may still have to wait for long to have a good constitution. See, a lot of money was spent on the confab by the regime of President Goodluck Jonathan. But what do we have? At the end of the day, Jonathan himself could not implement it. Okay, given that it was at the end of his administration.
Yes.
Former President Buhari had a whole of 8 years. He didn't go close to that place. And now we are in President Tinubu's era. Maybe if we put so much pressure like what happened in that meeting a few days ago,
yes,
he may look at it and say, let us amend it. But to be frank, without a constitution, without a new constitution, we may not head anywhere. We will still be running around the same circle.
Yes, because a lot of people would say it will be. Some people argue that it will be difficult to have this conversation, especially with our current 10th National Assembly, especially with the fact that a lot of things in the constitution that is an inconvenience for the people benefits our leaders,
not just leaders, politicians.
One way or the other.
For instance, let's look at it this way. Yesterday or so, the Senate has started debating the salaries of judiciary officers.
Yeah,
which should it have been? When did they debate their own salary? These three arms are supposed to be independent: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. But the executive and the legislature, they lord it over the judiciary. The executive does not have anything to do with how much legislators are paying themselves. Why would he in the budget was not specified against any specific budget, just a lump sum? Then the judiciary, you are not debating. Everybody is looking at the chief justice is going to be earning about 64 million annually. So in effect is that the constitution should come out clear how the judiciary should get their money. Let them decide how much they are going to pay themselves, because they are independent arm of government. It is then they will be fully independent. Right now, the judiciary is not independent. They are being hounded by everybody. The public is accusing them of whatever.
Yes.
And the politicians are finding way to buy them in. I mean, the constitution will come out clear about it. They will have what we call vibrant judiciary. A judiciary that will look at the president and the face and say, you are wrong. For now, we cannot.
Reforms, restructuring, and so many other words that we have heard as regards constitution. But let's listen to what Chief Emeka Anyaoku has to say as regards his mention. He said something that that stands out of it is that pluralist states like Nigeria succeed on true federalism. And my big question to our dear listener is Nigeria truly operating on federalism? But let's hear what he has to say, and we'll be right back. This is Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Present 1999 Constitution as amended not only lacks the legitimacy that flows from a democratically made constitution, but also has proved to be unsuitable for tackling many of the serious challenges currently confronting our country.
All right. Also, what we have here is first, Nigeria is a pluralist country that is still struggling to become a nation with assured political stability and progressive socio-economic development. And the fact from across the world is that some pluralist countries have succeeded in becoming nations, while some pluralist countries have failed and disintegrated. The lesson from this is that pluralist countries which have succeeded in becoming nations have generally practiced true federalism, with considerable powers devolved to the federating units. This fact, I must say, was recognized by the founding fathers of Nigeria, who negotiated painstakingly and agreed to the Independence Constitution of 1960, extended to 1963. The second incontrovertible fact that I would like to state is that our present 1999 Constitution, as amended, not only lacks the legitimacy that flows from a democratically made constitution, but also has proved to be unsuitable for tackling many of the serious challenges confronting our country. Thirdly, it is widely recognized that crucial areas of the country have significantly deteriorated and are continuing to deteriorate, such as security of citizens' lives and property, economic well-being of the citizens, infrastructure, social cohesion, social values, and sense of national unity. These are areas where significant deterioration has occurred over the years, and I'd like to conclude by saying there has been no shortage of opinions and prescriptions of the nature and content of what should be a suitable constitution for a pluralist country like Nigeria. Many commentators have expressed the view that the 1963 Constitution, as well as the recommendations of the 2014 National Conference, provide an inescapable guide to this respect. Now, Michael Zekome, on his own part, also mentioned something, and I also like to ask that question, to the general public, is why the 1999 Constitution is faulty and why it is unacceptable, and why we have conversations around restructuring. We always have conversations around let's make a change, let's do something different, but it never comes to it never comes to fruition. Yes, and it's a serious problem. So who will bail the cat? You mentioned something earlier on that the people who are supposed to do it, are the people there now, but it's going to be difficult to get them to do it. So what exactly is the way out? And some of our callers would say, oh, we need to have a people oriented constitution where the people have an input in the constitution. So there should be some sort of public conference or the people's conference or whatnot. So how can this actually come to fruition, and what could be the biggest challenge to it?
Now the question is, let's go back to 1999. General Abdulsalami did what he could have done to ensure the birth of the Fourth Republic.
Okay.
He wouldn't have delayed it more than that. It was not in his blood to continue indefinitely as head of state. So whatever he has given to us, that is the military version of doing things. The speed and precision of it, but the accuracy and the detail of it may be missing. So we are looking at a constitution that has been with us since 1999, and politicians have been coming and going, and nobody has taken it upon itself to do it. That is the issue. So what Nigeria needs now, just as
yes,
we have so many opinions about what to do. But what we have not got is an individual who is bold enough to approach it. Say, let's do this constitution. Why? Because even the various groups that we're trying to wedge into one, they have initial phobia, initial fear of a new constitution, because this one has its own advantage, this one has its own choice, this one has its own choice. But the issue is that we are one nation, and it will be everybody's choice. So we need a president, one who will say, okay, now let us amend this constitution the way it should be, who does not care whether he loses the next election or not, but his name will go down in history as the president that initiated that comprehensive review of the constitution. Then how do we do that? He will come up and set up a body of maybe eminent Nigerians who are not politicians now. Maybe President Jonathan did. When they give us, look, this is what we come up with, before it goes to the National Assembly for adoption, QD. But if you said National Assembly should debate it, the word will end. They will not give you any result.
Oh. And that which should actually even be their core
mandate. That should be what
the core mandate. Very unfortunate. I have a quote here from Zekome saying that the 1999 Constitution was imposed on you and I militarily by a military junta led by General Abdulsalami Abubakar, 28 members of the Provisional Ruling Council. It was never subjected to any referendum of the people, and guess what? The present constitution was attached as a mere schedule.
Sorry, let me come back there. When you say it was imposed,
okay,
I will tell you the wisdom behind Abdulsalami's action. If he had said, okay, we want a new constitution,
what you said earlier on, that he couldn't have extended
it, he didn't want to extend it. So if he said, okay, extra 1 or 2 years to his tenure, the same politicians will come and say, it's a ploy. The man wants to stay there for long. Do you understand? But the question then is, he gave us, let's say he gave us a draft constitution. Let's look at it as a draft constitution for almost 25 years now. The people who are criticizing the constitution, why have they not amended it? So that was the wisdom behind that constitution. So whether we said it's imposed or not imposed, I agreed. But now it has been.
That's a big question.
Yeah, we are talking of development.
Yeah.
In a true federalism, everybody should be going cap in hand to Abuja at intervals to go and collect money. It doesn't mean because Lagos is this developed, Edo State will also develop in that way. No, you develop according to your resources. You draw up your development pattern. The development.
People have been left out, Matthew Okodwa. There's some people who feel that this constitution hasn't favored some regions of this country
because it was not well discussed. That it was not well discussed, but had the opportunity since 1999.
Has it come up for it to be discussed?
It was discussed in the confab in 2014.
Yeah.
But was it implemented? If you go in detail, there would have been 1 or 2 points that may be called sub-points for the politicians. Why that confab report, people worked against it. That is the reason.
All right then, 0913-600410. Therein lies our second story for the day. The constitution, the fact that even our politicians are looking at the fact that Nigerians must own their own constitution through a people referendum, where the people come together and actually have a conversation as regards restructuring and the putting together of a people's constitution. What do you think? What are your thoughts? 0913-600410 0913-6 the parliament.
People mature to this. People should say this is liberty organization. This is the right thing. No, this is what we wanted. We want a kind of a sitting where people will gather together and we are going to discuss about how we want to stay together. We should not go to election. I think the election way. Because we the chase Abacha out now. Somehow, Abacha died. They say there was a way Tinubu did when he formed Nadeko now. These people can come together. That all belongs to the people. But of course, the Nigerian election is not mature to that level. When it comes to time of election now, you see them collecting stipends to tell the Abacha for a plate of porridge. That's just the problem we have. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. John from Ogwa. Appreciate your contribution. Well, I mean, there you have it. Where if they can call the people together and say, "Oh, it's time for election," and you can call the people together and say, "It's time for us to
amend the constitution.
It's time for us
to draw up a new constitution.
Draw up a new constitution." All right. I have here Senator Tambuwal. Also made a note that a doctrine of necessity from the legislature might be needed to overcome the constitution amendment lacuna provided by the 1999 constitution. Doctrine of necessity, the fact from the legislatures, we are still looking up to the legislature who are too comfortable at this time now, very comfortable. Everything is looking good for them. Everything is fine for them. These are people, we're still having conversation as regards constituency projects and what's the access of, the legislatures to these, funds and all of that. Where you're commanded, that's where you see even the people that are now confused as regards what they should expect from, their representatives. What has our representative done for us? When they're expecting that the legislature should be the one in charge of street lights and roads and all of that, and even boreholes, and even senators are not even helping matters. Senator Kwemi Bamdili last week said that not to worry, by December we'll see street lights and all of that. So I think it's at this time now, just like Matthew Okodwa said, what do you think? Should we look past the legislature? Maybe we may not get anything from these guys. We should look past them and see what we can do as a people to ensure that the restructuring that we all clamor for comes to fore. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Pastor Peter from Apple.
All right, Pastor Peter, please go.
That man spoke and he support of his idea.
Okay.
We Nigerians who are suffering, we can come together and say we want a constitution of this country.
Who call us together?
Politicians can gather us and eat our anyhow. We can also tell them, so it's not time for election. I am in support that motion of legislation.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I'm just wondering who's going to be the person to call us together for us to now come together and have that conversation here. These are the things that we need to talk about, you know. And I remember quite clearly during the campaign period of the general elections when we're having conversations as regards, let's ask, this person wants to remove subsidy. What's the plan? Why do you plan to do it? But no, a lot of our people were much more concerned with someone who can enter the US, or someone whose certificate bears another name, or someone whose certificate has another picture. Hello, good afternoon.
I'm responding again. Sandra, you asked a special question. Where are the people that will call us together? Where are the NGOs? Where are the human rights fighters? What about the people themselves? Are you with me?
Yes.
All belongs to the people. So if we are just and we are complacent and we are gullible, they will continue to write it very short on us. Honestly, and I know exactly what I'm saying. It has happened that it could happen. And then we start the election time. We are not going for election. This is what we wanted. Nobody here this is agreed. We want the paralysis from the past, from the status quo. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Mr. John, rather. Hello?
Hello, Omobola Sandra.
Oh, Prince Wise.
How are you? Good afternoon. You are there today.
I'm there every Thursday.
God bless you. Mr. Kodra, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Prince Wise. How are you today? Yes.
Thank you, my dear. You see, when we talk of a constitution, the mistake has already made is 1979, where we have notable leaders. The whole political leaders like the Baba Fẹ́mi and many all of them, that the Constitutional Assembly they are the one who recommend this president of the government. And it is too expensive, tailor with corruption. In one of 1979, I think the head of the faster it after that 1979. It's better for Nigeria today. It's a pre-1960 constitution where we have regional government. We have Western region, Northern region, Eastern region. Every region is fellow and on place. Yes, now, when we have military that is take over 1963, it is only one person that can write it is what we are following now. That is Ūṛ government. When we say we are practicing the democratic system of government, we are still so tailored towards military government. And the best thing to do now, if you want to go back, because of what I say, __, it is federalism or regionalism. And we keep my advice, my own to go for regionalism. And if you want to do this, who will get the card? If we lost National Assembly. If we do, if we separate the rent to do it, we can't do it at the early stage of the government. It will be towards the end of first time, or when if it happens that it over second time. The one of 2014 today, it was perfectly done. They spent a lot of money. But the president there, 8 months before the end of the tenure, he straight to operate it. People are not saying, if you do it now, it is not effective. I want to want the president. To match that Obasanjo's recommendation and the Jonathan recommendation and just put little input. Let us go back to that. It will be better. Or we have the permission for National Assembly that I want to set up a constitutional committee. Anything recommended by them will not go back to National Assembly anymore. Because the one of Obasanjo, it was done before they take it to National Assembly and they throw it over the bar. The one of Jonathan is not taken to National Assembly as well. Any recommendation that is go against their will now, I'm telling you they will go against it because we need only one assembly, not two. This is the duplication of duty. We need only one National Assembly and the regional government is the best. If we do it, it is Nigeria with you. Sandra, good afternoon. God bless you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Prince Wise. I appreciate. I think we've always had that conversation as regards unicameral and bicameral assembly. Why exactly we need both chambers. I think that has also always been a conversation. But there's the conversation as regards the need. Do we need an amended constitution or a totally brand new constitution, away from whatever it is that we are running on at this time now?
We are not a new nation.
Okay.
So we need an amended constitution.
Okay.
Because there's a structure already, but there could be defects in that structure, which we need to correct. Prince Wise talked about some 5 constitutions back.
1963.
We cannot adopt it just like that, because Nigeria has evolved from then, and new things have happened. We have discovered new things, all those things. We have discovered that this part cannot be practiced, this part cannot be practiced. I mean, a constitution that was drawn when Nigeria was 56 million. 56 million people cannot be practiced when we are now 100 million. For instance, it would be easier to say, okay, at 100 million, Lagos State could be effectively be managed by 20 local governments. But at 200 million, it won't work. Those are the things. But then, we can also, okay, the legislature that is based on party may not work. Do we go back to the Constituent Assembly thing and get it to work? Whichever, we need to tinker with the Constitution. So we need an amended Constitution, because we cannot draw up a new one. Because we are not a new nation. It's only a new nation that draws up a new Constitution. We need to look at what we have and amend it.
Thank you very much, Matthew Kodwa. You're listening to Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the part where we, discuss a lot of stories that, have been trending in the past 1 week, and we open the phone line for you, our dear listener, to share your contribution. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Please do well to drop your comments in the live chat section as well. Moving on from that particular report now, and we have here, the Senate has passed the student loan bill. And what we have is that the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, has been passed by the Senate. And this comes after the Senate's consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund that considered the bill. And there's a lot of amendments that have been made to the student loan bill. But yesterday on the Big Talk, I had a conversation with the National Coordinator Education Rights Campaign, and he put out some reservations, or several reservations rather, that he has as regards the student loan bill. And it's actually a lot, but we'll see how we can just run through a few of them. All right, we have here that the major thing, or the major issue or challenge that the education sector, the tertiary education sector, has is public funding, and the fact that this student loan is a gimmick by the government to evade its responsibilities towards the funding of public education. What do you think, Matthew Kodwa?
Well, those who said so may have their points, but two, the government is too involved in education, just as it's involved in every other thing. And once government is involved in everything, it's not well done. When we look at the structure of education in Nigeria, it does not give us that room for excitement, because there's always a problem in it. Number one, inherited problem. Everybody thinks that government school is free to some extent, but the private schools are not free. But you look at the student loan thing, in principle, is very good. But look at the practice. For instance, when you graduate in the next 2 years,
after NYSC,
okay, you start paying. Are you sure the person will get work?
Well, a part of the amendments they've made.
What I'm really saying,
okay.
I understand. What I'm really saying, in effect, is I know, add infinitum until you get work. That's an amendment.
Yes.
Okay, but the question is, government should do something to ensure that employment opportunities increase. for people to get employed. But we are not doing that yet. As it is now, the number of graduates that Nigerian universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education turn out in a year, we cannot absorb maybe 15% of them in the employment market. What will happen? In other words, if we now have 100 people who will take loan, which means 85 of them will not be employed. So how do we pay back? And with that money sustain itself, it's supposed to be a revolving thing.
Which brings me to the second point that they highlighted, which is the fact that this loan policy is going to set up a lot of people for lifelong, or set them into lifelong indebtedness. And also the fact that the student loan scheme will put a lot of people out of reach. Out of reach for education. Now, when the student loan scheme was announced sometime last year, I think about June or so, a lot of tertiary institutions fees for a lot of tuition fees rather for a lot of tertiary institutions skyrocketed. A lot of fees were increased in different parts. Public schools as well were affected, and we just and that was just an announcement. The student loan scheme has not even been launched or implemented. So when public universities look at it and say, "Oh, you can access, student loan, so therefore we can now start charging as much as we need to charge in order to be able to,
measure up."
Exactly. So, what about that, concern from the Education Rights Campaign?
See, let us not kill the dream before the dreamer wakes up.
Okay.
Let's start it. If there's any defect on the line, we are made. When you're talking of policies, it's not always easy to think policies through A to Z. But as you implement any problem in it, you correct until it becomes perfect. As I said, the idea is very good, but let's start the implementation without fear. Why are we afraid? Some of the time, you find out that some of these things, the fear itself is bigger than the challenge we have.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Turn down the volume of your radio set. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My mainland family. My name is Adeoye from Mogba.
All right, Mr. Adeoye. You're welcome.
Yes. On the student loan scheme, I'm a full supporter and a promoter of it long before it's now trying to see the light of the day. Please, it is our by our own way of life to criticize things. But it will benefit a lot of people and even relieve government to release money for other development. I want to touch on the earlier discussion about constitutional development.
Please go on, sir.
In Lagos, those of us that are Lagosians, we discuss matter of national politics as if it's only Lagos that is Nigeria. Whereas we face our daily activities of how to get money and leave the politics for others. Who is to blame? The northerners, the northern Nigeria have right to demand their rights. And the southern Nigeria or the south have right to demand. That is politics. So, if before we had 3 regions in the south and 1 in the north, suddenly the north become equal with us, 12-12. And during the Muritala time, they have more state than us. And we participated in making them to be more. By the time Abacha came, they moved from state to local government, and they have more states in the north. Let me now give you an instance. To change Nigerian constitution or to amend, you need 2/3 of the federation. The middle belt are trying to align with the south, and adding us together, we are not up to 24. The northeast and the northwest, 6 + 7,
That is 13. Anything they decided to vote against, that is the end. So when are we to catch up? Where are our strategies? Politics is negotiation. If they negotiated the Southerners to believe that if we give you Middle Belt, Middle West, you will continue to support us. And we continue to do that before now. If they give us South or Cross River, and we believe it is to support the North to have more to them, good luck to us. Can we devise a new strategy? That is what we require. Negotiation. And politics is negotiation. Thank you. Good afternoon.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Diadu. I appreciate. Thank you for sharing your contribution this afternoon. But stay with us. We still have a host of other stories coming up. This is Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. To wrap things up on the story as regards the student loan scheme, just in case you were not able to join us yesterday on the Big Talk, these are the amendments to the bill now. So the student loan funding source will be 1% of all collectible revenue by the FIRS. That's what will be used to fund the scheme. Also, student applicants can no longer be disqualified based on their parents' loan history. Before it was a familial history tie. So it will be based now on the beneficiary themselves. So the hurdles of a parent's debt profile, maybe your guarantor has a debt profile and others and all in the old act has been removed. It has also removed the fact that remove guarantor requirements, so students can apply for and receive loans subject to application and identity verification guidelines as provided by the fund. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Yes.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
This is Sandra.
I can hear you.
Yeah, this is Oᴘᴇɪ.
All right, please go ahead.
I'll be trying to have my own thoughts and my own opinion several days too, because I always listen to your program every day.
Oh,
and you are trying over there, you are really trying. So, but what I can say about the student loan and the rest about the security matter. What about our assets? All these people, they are sleeping because Obasanjo inside all the DSS to guide the president on people that want to attack or okay. What about the rest of ourselves? What about the work of DSS? It does not really hear anything about the DSS. And the secret agent, before something happens, we need to aware. Not that when the thing happens that we will not certain with the good approaches. You see, it has been inside our blood. Until something happens before, or until something happens, that is when we now turn and down to seek for the solution. What about can't we make a solution before it happens? That's all. On the student loan, what I just say there is that they just see what is not people want that it will people them. It just be like say maybe I want to have a loan in which I did not have a business to use for. Which business am I going to use the money I collect now for that it can use? When it doesn't have a stability of economy. The market is buy today, when the same market finish, by next week it will not be so. You need to add borrow another money to join the one you invested, or you will not buy today. The one that the quantity you need to buy again. That is why let us look for the students. What about all our NYSC? Which work are they doing now? Let's focus on the project. We have agriculture students. We have all these people that they are doing. Let's say tablets. You understand what I mean?
Pharmaceuticals.
Because God bless you. That we can put, the government can put money before the one that they are coming can be graduate, they have work to do when people are graduate finished, because your visitor there, it has already said it's finished. When students come out of the school, see which work it is going to do, which work you want to use that study do. There's no any work outside again. Let's focus on the project first. The agriculture. What about our farmers? They cannot reach farm again and produce again. Let's focus on the security. When our farm can go to the farm and produce something. And we have many agriculture students that the government can give money to, or give them land to farm, build out for them, and give them security. All the middle belt area, we have fertile land, and the west too, we have fertile land. That is what I just mean for my mouth. Peace. That is why I think that our government can do something. Forget about saying, okay, they want to do not. Then if our students started school now, which work are they going to do after graduate? Thank you. Thank you for taking my call today.
No. Of course, again, it's always a pleasure to have these conversations. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Can you call back again, ma?
Okay.
Ma, I wanted to ask a question, and then I wanted to ask you that question about the student loan. I really like what the last caller already said. But then what of the students they collect it? Nobody prayed that maybe when you send your children to school, something happened. Maybe when they start wanting to feel something happen. That may be by accident, or maybe sure this happen. Who the people that will pay the money by? Is it the parents, or they will forgive the payment?
All right. So I have yes. Okay. I'll just give you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Okay. You want to say something?
No, just let's have the answer there.
Oh, okay. Because from what we have here is, as regards loan repayment, the bill indicates that beneficiaries will begin as soon as you're employed. But then there's also provision for loan forgiveness in the acts of death.
Good.
Or if the beneficiary dies. So there's loan forgiveness in the event of death or acts of God, natural happenstance, exactly, causing inability to pay. All right, maybe something happens, and it's beyond.
Yes, that's where I was coming to.
Okay.
When the student dies,
the beneficiary
dies, outright death, or incapacitated, it cannot be employed, even while he's not dead.
Yeah.
The loan becomes bad debt.
Yes.
So it's not parents paying, because the repayment plan is when you work. That's why you have provisos also that if in 2 years you have not been employed, it's deferred to when you get job.
It's stated here as well that a beneficiary may request an extension of enforcement action by the fund. You provide an affidavit indicating that you're not employed.
As at that time.
Yes, and you're not receiving any income. All right, so you can go to Fund, and have a conversation, provide an affidavit. I don't have a job as of now. I don't have any means of income to pay back, and all of that. And don't forget what I mentioned earlier: the fact that your parents' debt profile is no longer tied to your application. Okay, and the fact that there's no guarantor requirement anymore. So
even the parents' total income, the family income level is no more required.
Is no more required. All right, so it is now based on your application, identity verification, and as provided. All right, so that it is between you and Fund. That's basically what we have now from this particular one. Just in case someone is wondering, Fund is Nigeria Education Loan Fund, has been established as a body corporate to receive, manage, and invest funds to provide loans to. And for those who are probably wondering, it's not just higher education, apparently. So vocational skills as well, and skill acquisition and other related matters are things that you can actually apply for the student loan for. So it's not only those who are going to the university All right, so it is for higher education, vocational training, skill acquisition, and other related matters. It's a very long read. We had an extensive conversation on it yesterday on the Big Talk, but then let me see what else we can have here. Yes, there's also the removal, just as Matthew Okudo has highlighted. One of the eligibility criteria that's removed is family income threshold. Has been removed on repayment. I've also mentioned repayments, but then there's also this something I should also highlight. False declaration attracts 3 years jail term. Okay, so anybody who provides false statement to the fund under the loan repayment section is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for 3 years. So don't go and lie that you died. Don't go and lie that you don't have a job. Don't go and lie that you are crippled. Don't do that. All right. I mean, yes, 2 years after NYSC is sufficient. And if you don't have, there's the provision that if you don't have a job, you can go for an extension, apply for an extension that, I do not have a job now. So those are the, amendments that have been done to the student loan scheme. But of course, other details, you can get it on the NELFund site if you are interested. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not just for higher education, vocational training, skill acquisition, and other related matters are things that are covered by the fund. Yes, it is still open forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. It's 8 minutes past 2. Would like to move on now to the next story for the day. Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you, ma. In fact, I'm happy for the way you answer my question. To the call back again.
Okay.
And the reason why makes me happy with that one is that it's not stop on education, and the most of the people that would learn something they can benefit from it too. It's a welcome development. I really like it. And then my advice for all the parents is that, no matter any student that gets to this thing, they must be serious and know what to do. Because no easy. If federal government is giving this money out, and some students think that they can collect it and then use it, I don't support that one. Thank you so much for getting up. Let me be okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll see, the practicability of it as soon as people start applying, and if NELFund will be up to task as regards loan recovery. Thankfully, it's not like the digital money lenders where they'll be calling you and harassing you. There's a contract that you sign and everything is well detailed. Go to school, get your money, 2 years post NYSC. As soon as you get a job, just try to start paying back the money. Let's move on to the next story.
Hello?
Okay. Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Please, am I on to Mainland FM?
Correct. Mainland 98.3 FM. Good afternoon.
I want to make inquiry.
Go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
We are listening.
Okay. Please, I want to know your rate for 30 minutes program. I want to start the program there.
Okay. You send a message to this number. Yes, send a message. Send a text message to this number. I would respond.
After the program.
After the program. Just stay tuned. Thank you. All right. Just send a message and, we'll get our sales department to respond to that. All right. Moving on now. Still on open forum. We have so many other stories to look at. But before we look at the other stories, let's quickly look at security. There's a lot to look at as regards that one. Soldiers killing, army, Delta community, and also reprisal conversations, aftermath of that, and also finally wrapping things up with kidnapping, ransom payments, and government's duty as regards security. But before we go deep into it, I'm sure we have been discussing, the Delta killing that happened in Okwama community. There's been a communal clash between Okwama community in Ogeli South, a local government, and Okoloba community in Boromadi local government in Delta State since January this year. Land disputes. Yeah, my land, my land, and all of that. So the military men were sent on a peacekeeping mission, and unfortunately we lost about 16 men, 1 commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 soldiers lost their lives in that particular scenario. There has been a lot of conversations on this one, but now there have been allegations of reprisal attacks on the part of the military, although the military has come forward to say, well, that isn't, from us. But it's difficult to actually get what exactly is going on because both communities have been closed off to the press. So we can't really get. So what we've been getting, apparently there was even a video that went around some 2 days ago. And when, fact checkers looked into the video, it apparently is a video from the Oki situation in Bayelsa State, and that was about some years ago. So it's not something that we can actually put our feet on as now. But there have been conversations as regards the military should become. We understand how they feel and all of that, but then collective punishment shouldn't be the way out of this one. But away from that, or still on that, in relation to that. This statement from our Senate President as regards, what may or may not have happened in Delta State. Let's quickly have a conversation as regards that. The Senate President questioned the nationality of the killers of the soldiers. And then much later on, there's a U-turn. He has said something, in trying to correct whatever, the impression that he has created. Because now a lot of people have a statement has created an opening for a lot of conspiracy theories and for a lot of statements that it's almost like it has been politicized, and now it's like almost like a tribal thing. And let's see what we have here. Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, questioning the nationality of the killers.
It is because I don't think these people are Niger Deltans. We are not at war. Even in a period of war, to lose such number of personnel, no community will go to the extent of doing this kind of thing. I don't think they are from Niger Delta. So I think the first point should be that we should first establish the culprits who committed this crime. We must take it seriously. Supposing they are not from Niger Delta, supposing they are not even Nigerians.
The Senate President even went further to also say that that they may have been mercenaries or whatnot who were employed to do some certain things. All of this has brought a lot of from different corners. But then this is a response to the reaction of that one. So let's also get that.
To this report that has just been approved by the Senate. I'm praying that God will give the Pᴏʟɪᴛᴜᴜ service to the government to carry out the work they are proposed to do to improve the revenue of the Federation and enable the government of Bola Tinubu and the corrective regime to achieve a lot for the benefit of all Nigerians. Congratulations for a wonderful job. I can also use this opportunity to correct what is trending on the social media. We agree here that we should await the outcome of the investigation by the joint teams of the military, particularly the defense headquarters, and the killing of the soldiers in Oᴜᴜᴜᴜ. And I said that at the end of the investigation, that there may even be mercenaries, there may be people that were sponsored who may not even be from Niger Delta, and they could also be from Niger Delta. So whoever they are, the act is not only barbaric, it is horrific and a crime against humanity, and all those involved must be brought to book. And then that somebody went to tweet, I don't know from where, that Senate President says that the killers of the soldiers are not from Nigeria. I just want you to see, after they will say we should not regulate the social media. Am I right? They say we should not regulate social media. So when you bring that kind of falsehood and throw out, and that's the one that will trend. Pablo says, Pablo reviews killers of were 16 soldiers, says they are not from Nigeria. So anybody who sees it will say that this is what was discussed. We are calling for investigation to unravel the culprits so that they will be brought to book. And I said that it is not in the character of our people to go killing and cutting off the heads of men and women in uniform. I'm a Niger Delta. I know this is totally uncommon. This is not something anybody will think of. This is barbaric, this is brutal. This is the kind of thing that you hear in organized terrorist groups. Such people will be declared as terrorists. And I said I refuse to even allow us to condone any civilian that could have suffered from collateral damage. Because I said investigation is still going on. So we condole only with the members of the family. We condole the chief of army staff, the chief of defense staff, and the personnel of the armed forces over this tragedy. And we say we will not condole any person involved in collateral damage or the community yet until the investigation is completed. But they didn't write that one. Since what they went to write is that Bible says killers of Nigeria, 16 soldiers are not Nigerians. So sometimes people love breaking news, but breaking news should not break the society. I'm not angry. Every time I hear Pablo. So I'm not angry. You can sell your media that pleases you, but stop sending fake news around. Stop sending fake news around. I'm not trying to tarnish anybody's image. This is a very serious issue, and this Senate takes it seriously. That was why we refused to mention.
It's all right. Thank you very much. That's the voice of Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Both audio files are his voice, and it's clear. The fact that the first one is where he was questioning the nationality of the killers, but then he makes a U-turn in the second audio, saying that it was quoted out of context. I don't know.
I think it was.
You think so?
Yes, I think it was, because if you look at the environment, the situation under which he made those statements, it's like somebody giving you a hypothesis as a researcher. Then you now go and find out the true position of it. Number one, that kind of thing, the killing of 16 soldiers, is not new. But what happened during the previous situations, that should scare you to repeat it. Anybody who is aware of what happened in OD and what happened in Zakibia and still took that step. In fact, if I were Senator Akpabio, I would not even question whether it's a Nigerian or not. I would question the person's humanity, whether it's a human being.
And sanity.
Whether that person is actually sane. You understand?
Yes.
So what he was saying, I mean, in the context that, look, this thing defies my imagination. Anybody within Niger Delta, you'll be hard to take such action, because he knows, or he or she should know, what will follow. You didn't kill one soldier, you didn't kill two, you killed 16 or 17. And with senior officers involved.
Senior officers.
You should expect what you have got. But the unfortunate thing, which is what he is actually thinking, is that it may not be the people from Oᴜᴜᴜ that may have caused that thing, but it happened in that environment. It is those people in that environment that will suffer the repercussion.
Very unfortunate.
Whether the military says we are whether they agree or not that they are
on reprisal or retaliatory attacks,
it's not the matter. You can't kill soldiers and feel free in your house. No way. So they should have expected it, that it's going to happen. There's no debate. In fact, as of today, I would have been surprised that if what has happened has not
happened.
Yes. Then that means perpetual fear in the minds of the people. You don't know when they are coming. You don't know when they are coming. For the next 1 year, you'll be afraid. They might come. But now they have come, it's settled that they have come. You can live your life What we are doing investigation.
And I don't think there's any life to be lived in Okwama or Koloba now, because a lot of the residents have reportedly fled.
In the bush.
They've reportedly fled the community. They're scared now. But well, it is still open forum. What are your thoughts? What do you think, or what do you make of the statement of Senate President Godswill Akpabio on this issue that we are having? Or this issue in Delta State, Okwama or Koloba? Do you agree with the thesis of Matthew Kodwa as regards the interpretation of the Senate President's statement? Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Salau.
Your name is
Salau.
Salau.
Salau is my name. My Majesty. Good afternoon.
Yes, you're welcome.
Ogamachu, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Very well, Madam, I heard you saying that Mr. President has put an embargo on this suspended.
Yes, he banned
for 3 months.
For 3 months.
You see, this government is a government, sometimes when there is serious issue, they just come with some certainty to divert people's attention. Mind from that. We are talking of budget funding. Yes, we are talking about budget funding. We are talking about army, whatever. He now come with another thing that is suspended. Meaning what? Nothing have changed now. Is he included? Him as the president, is he also included for the next 3 months? Madam, I'm asking you.
It's just the MDAs.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So tomorrow, don't be surprised that tomorrow Mr. President is going somewhere. You see him with another 30, 50, 70, 100, another 100 again. You understand? So nothing changed. The only thing that this president will do for me to clap for him and pray for him is to reduce his cabinet. Madam Sandra, if I ask you now that who is the Minister of Digital Economy, do you know him? What is his name? What is his name?
Bositi.
Bosima. It's because there are a lot of ministers that you cannot hear them. Nothing is happening in that ministry.
I totally agree with you on that one.
They're not doing
you understand? So nothing is there. So you can't hear. So you have this number of 48 ministers that are not adding value to the nation, and you put them there. You have said that you have suspended this thing for 3 months. This and that. Look at what you are saying now. Just minister, meeting between finance commissioners and finance, and you take it to London for what? You understand? So in my state, now that my commissioner will just go to London to do what? To take tea and coffee and come without nothing. Already has no value. You understand? Yeah, this is aside. Now coming back to this unfortunate incident that happened.
Yes.
No, Akpabio.
Okay, yes.
Akpabio, okay, let's talk Akpabio. Madam, whatever day you look at it, I'm not Akpabio fan. But after today, Akpabio is one of the eldest man in Niger Delta. Because after Jonathan, I think he's the first female president in that region. Is there any? I remain to be corrected. You understand?
Joseph, yes.
Okay, Joseph, that means that he's the second one. Good. And then he was the minister of Niger Delta. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
He was two-time governor in Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
So if you look at it in every angle, you know that region very well.
Okay.
So if you make any statement, we cannot take it just like that. He knows what is there because he's one of the people that take decision in that region. So we cannot just overlook. Yes, politics will come in, we may change some certain things, but the reality, those things $500 fighting Boko Haram, we want you. By this comment I will do, you see that Niger Delta in particular, madam, they are over-pampered. Yes, they are over-pampered. You see, oil was discovered in 1957. Before then, we are living now. The economy was okay now. We are using, in fact, if you look at it critically, I'm a shareholder in that oil now. You also as a Yoruba person, you are a shareholder there now. Because with the cocoa and timber and the coal and palm oil in Southeast and my groundnut and cotton that was fight for that oil and bring that oil to that. And for God's sake, Nigerians are very, very fair to that region. Very, very fair. 13% oil graduation, ecological for Ministry of Niger Delta Commission, call them. But last 2 or 3 weeks ago, Bayelsa was listed as one of the states that cannot pay their fair salary outside federal allocation. Yeah. Rivers are also there. Delta is there. So if you look at it, it's just some group of people, the traditional rulers and some politicians that just pocketing everything and arm the militants, arm the young guys, give them drugs, give them arms to go and cause chaos. You understand? It's very, they are even lucky that somebody like Obasanjo was not in that state, and this person has no military background. The history could have been different completely.
All right.
Completely. Thank you so much. I'm very
Thank you, Malam Salam. I appreciate it.
Yes. In addition to what Malam Salam said,
okay.
It depends on your interpretation of machinery.
Okay.
It doesn't mean machinery must come from Chad, or must come from South Africa, or must come from Ghana.
Someone who's just not a member of that community.
Exactly. So the issue of this tribal military, for instance, the Jaws, if you offend them in Ondo State, those that will come and revenge may not be from Ondo State. They may come from Rivers or Bayelsa. The same thing with the Fulanis. They have this tribal army. So when people who are not members of that Delta State now come from Bayelsa or from all the other places, they can be classified as mercenaries. But what worries me in particular, as a Niger Delta, is the number of warlords in Niger Delta. These warlords, they have their own army. They have their own, weapons. They can easily mobilize anybody. And because they are aware of the routes, of the sea routes, of the river routes, this thing can just happen and disappear. So if they actually happen, if not to Kwama or the Koloba people, they can be classified as mercenaries.
Okay. I'll come back to that. I just quickly need to take this.
Okay, ma.
Yes.
Hello, ma.
Yes, good afternoon.
Thank you, ma. Good afternoon, ma.
Okay.
My guest, good afternoon. Today speaking from Akowajo. Back again.
Thank you, today.
For me personally, let me say something. I respect army officials. Any official people, I respect them a lot. I wanted to say something. If you are here, I wanted to say, I don't know the way I wanted to put this in. If Lion, somebody killed Lion's son in front of Lion is saying that somebody killed his son, you will see the way the Lion will react. You don't want to know anybody that is there will react. I watched one documentary when crocodile killed lions. I know the way they react with all the animals around. I watched it worldwide something, the way they react. They kill all of them without eating them. They deal with them. Because the way they are killed, the way the crocodile is eating their sons without eating.
It's okay.
Thank you, man. What are we talking about now? I blame, in fact, I wanted to say something. If something happens, whether in state or in federal, in community, I want elderly people, I mean the Senate President and Fabio and then before they say anything, they should calm down. What the Fabio is saying is wrong. You say that something happened and it comes. What's the meaning of that one? That's why I blame the community. That's why we are saying in this community, that's the mistake we are making in this community. When we see something that is going on and then we know bad people that want us to do something, everybody will go to fish out to give the police information, that will not give anybody information. After the one that we pass now, they are who's any army. Is it easy for me to burn children and the children say that I wanted to defend the children and then somebody go and kill him and they say me that sorry I overlook it. It's not done like that. It's not done like that. The only thing I don't support the way army react is that maybe when they go there killing at the bomb. Normally you have to react like that because listening is not happy to us. That's why they're keeping quiet. I can't be saying my children go to this thing and saying I wanted to defend Nigeria and then it's going out there and they are doing something. The way thing we forgive that feeling. It's wrong. That's why we need to defend all the community. When they see somebody that's doing something wrong, we need to defend them. That's why I respect me anything. And when you come to my organization, you want to come and do any transaction, I respect them and let them answer them fast and let them go. In fact, don't support the way they kill them. So you know how much money Nigeria spend on military. Is it easy to defend Nigeria? And the people are saying this. I mean, I dare not like Nigeria. Is it easy to go push and defend it someone? This time around now, I want to beg all the community and everybody. Want your children very well. And when you see somebody that's doing bad something, I want to say it, see them out. I mean, I beg you, they are so responsible because this thing is paining me. For somebody wake up in the morning saying I wanted to go and defend something, somebody just kill you. In Nigeria, I see that something will happen. Somebody will come and attack you, they will take it from you. They will attack to kill you, they will pay for you. After them, they will tell you,
thank you, Mr. Tunde.
They pay me. I need money for what happened.
Yes, okay. Yes, thank you very much. Trust me, believe you me, I understand. And the truth is, before they are even military men, they're human beings. as well. I think, that's where, Matthew Okodua came in with the argument of the humanity of the people who carried out this act. I was having a conversation with Fuad, and I said that there's a different thing with you saw them from afar, you shot at them because you didn't know who they were. But then they were not just shot at, they were dismembered. There were one or two of them that, they was beheaded. The head was taken off. It's just very gruesome what happened to these young men. Very unfortunate. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm doing
all right, please go on, sir.
Mr. Kudra, thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Well done.
The caller before the last was saying something about Papa of Niger Delta. When I spoke, I discussed the strategy of the northern states. It is noted worldwide. Everybody wants development in their area. About 30 years ago, I'm a worker in the creek between Calabar, Warri, and Port Harcourt. If you see the life they are bubbling. Currently, the federal government of Nigeria, through the PIA, the bill, they said one of the worst things that happened before, they've changed it, that even if the pipe should pass in your land, the pipeline of the oil pass, you are entitled to royalty. If you know the number of 99, you will not sleep in Calabar Depot, Port Harcourt Refinery, the Warri Refinery, including Aba. So, what happened now? The place is deserted. When they must force government, they must change our strategy that government should come and repair those things and we will be protecting it ourselves. It's not until all of us troop to Lagos and be dancing around Dangote Refinery. Lagos is not waiting for anybody. They just recently they gave us 2 super rail, one from Agbado and one from Weekly, and they are constructing 4th mainland bridge. And they will not wait for anybody. The Niger Delta should force us to that place. They should protect the areas and not to destroy it again, because it's causing environmental problem and only few people are enjoying it in the name of militancy. It is not acceptable. We must change our strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Adiadoye. Thank you. Appreciate. Well, time check right now is 2:34 p.m. and you're listening to Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
My name is Michael.
Michael?
Yes.
Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling in from Ikeja.
All right, please go ahead.
My own suggestion, what I want to say is that those who kill soldiers must not go free. Because it takes Nigeria to train a soldier with $1 billion. I am now imagining how can a citizen killing somebody who came to rescue you from problem, before they can kill a soldier, there must be almost 10 or 20 people with weapons before you can kill one soldier because he's trained. But I imagine those who come out and those villagers, this thing is a planned work. They were killed and were slaughtered. This great death. They will never scot free. Because I believe Nigerian army are just like Israel. If we kill one of our soldiers, we kill 100 Pygmies.
It's okay. Let's not encourage that though, but I get
we will not encourage that. That is why everybody is lobby. They are calling the chief of army staff, chief of air force staff, chief of that. They should know how to cool the situation down, this and that. Because I can see it, politicians, civilians are lobbyists now to cool the situation down. I clap for that, but I know they will not scot free. That is what I know. Because it took Nigeria. We all of us are human beings. You can't continue killing soldiers as if you are killing an animal. There's so much in Niger Delta. There are two papas. As the commentator said, there are two papas. There are two papas them. All the money Nigeria made, almost half of it is going to Niger Delta. Now, my Mr. Senator saying that it's a machinery, this and this. The villagers can equally do that because according to what we had, one of their headers was to go and ask what happened. Maybe because of that they retaliate. Maybe they want to go and when the civilians see that soldier carry one of their brothers, they will think he want to go and kill him or he want to go and torture him. That's what we usually do according to what we had. Now he kill the commander, lieutenant colonel, 2 major, captain, and some soldiers, and they are with weapons, but they never go there to go and fight.
All right, thank you.
And none of them fight soldier and 50 soldier with a commander, a lieutenant colonel, trained from the NDA.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, thank you. I appreciate.
Thank you. Well, I know they will not cut through. That village will turn to.
It was. Sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Michael, for your contribution. It's something that has been called out. That particular scenario was just, awful, very, very awful, and no human being should have to go out, like that. All right, it is the open forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. We are discussing security. I would like to wrap up on, the conversation on kidnapping, ransom payment, and government's duty on security. Hello.
Good afternoon.
We can't hear you at all. Could you please turn down the volume of your radio sets? And if you're using earpiece, maybe you should switch to the normal mouthpiece so we can hear you, because we can barely hear you.
Is it better now?
Oh, it's much better. Damn, Lola.
Yes.
Oh, yes. You're welcome. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I know. The person that spoke just now should just please calm down, eh? Nobody enjoyed how soldiers were killed and things like that, And the truth is, I'm sure maybe he might not even love the soldiers more than I do. At least he trained me throughout my secondary school. So I value the Nigerian military personnel. Saying the life is one soldier is equivalent to 100. We need to disabuse our minds of this.
Yes.
That was what led to the massacre, Jackie Bam and things like that. You understand? If you have to equate that, then how about the people soldiers have killed? How about the Shiite guys that were killed during Buhari's era and things like that? And life and now will make the whole world go blind. I think the basic thing is they should fish out those who killed the guys. They know them, that's the truth. The militants in that area, maybe whoever that did it should be fished out. And see, I am still confused how civilians were able to overpower soldiers. A lieutenant colonel, one eagle, one star, a major, an eagle, a captain, and other rank soldiers. It's still confusing. Something must have happened. They should dig deep. There's more to it. Fine, even if it's an ambush, which is possible, does that mean none of them could escape? What kind of weapons do those guys actually use against them? Fine, the soldiers could have actually gone there for peacekeeping and things like that. Those that did this thing knew there would be a reprisal. There is more to it. And there would only be solution, like they said, that what we've been hearing, that the only area is militarized, nobody's allowed to go in, there's a siege in that community. See, if that's the case, the truth will not come out. That's the truth.
Yes.
At this point, the soldiers can't even be the ones to do the fact finding. That will be biased.
No, because
independent bodies should be allowed to go there.
They're party to it.
Get to know what the problem, what led to their death. I'm sure if we have to do that, it's possible as we rule. Yes, it's them in doing that, perhaps not just soldiers will be arrested, not just the civilians will be arrested. So some soldiers too might be culpable. Those who are still alive. Understand this, we are talking about yellow. Let me use that word. We are talking about you. I've forgotten the rest. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, Damlola. Appreciate 0913600410. I wanted us to also quickly run through the conversation around the terrorist sponsors. Federal government names 15 terrorism financiers. Bureau de change operators. I don't know. I have questions around that one, but hello. Sorry. Hello.
Sandra.
Yes, very quickly, Mr. John.
Yeah, now Mr. John. Alhaji Suba.
Alhaji Suba. Oh, the voice is so similar. All right, please go on, sir.
Okay. You know what?
Yes.
You see, information reaching us about this military killer. I just want people to understand. You see, as it's rightly said, you know, this Oklahoma or whatever, you know, their issue has been, you know, elongating, you know, it has been lingering all along.
Yeah.
Fine. And the police people have been sent there initially, and we learned that the police people, you know, they were killed. And not only that, Sandra, the NAFDAC official, they sent them to that place. About fact that the information reaching us, the NAFDAC officer was too, because their practice, which is, you know, something criminal, you know, which is contrary to, you know, I mean, NAFDAC, you know, I mean, rule and regulation. They went there, about 5 officers, they were killed, they were, you know, eliminated. So it is not the first time this thing is happening in that area. And let me tell you, it is not an ordinary civilian that will kill this soldier. It's a military people with weapons. Even if they ambush them, no civilian will be so bold to go and confront me now. No civilian, I can bet my life on that. It is the military that confronted this. So it is not the first time. Police have been eliminated there. The national people that went to go, you know, terminate the practice of illegal Syria, there are about 5 of them was terminated. So it is the military that did this. So I hope, and this issue of legal comfort, it is, you know, I mean, there is never a smoke without fire. The community leaders will know the people that did this, perpetrated this act. The community leaders, they are not, you know, exonerated. And I'm happy the over of that area, it says, you know, something relevant to that, which is said is in UK, and the governor to tell it. So the community leaders should be responsible also.
All right.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
Yeah, stay with us, Alhaji Suba. Yes.
Take that call. We must be very careful when we say information reaching us.
I wanted to, but I didn't want to cut him.
Yeah,
yes.
because if information can reach you from different angles, different sources, which of them is credible?
Misinformation, disinformation, they are all information.
Yeah, so information can reach you from the pit of hell. Some can come from right, some come from left.
I remember I mentioned earlier on that there was a video that was circulating earlier this week that, you know, this was the military, but it was the OD situation, and you know, it was later on fact checkers went into it. So let's be very careful, especially on social media. All right, and that's why, you know, we also in the media, we try as much as possible, be very, very calculative with the information that we put out, and that's why when we were going to, you know, play Senator Godzilla, we first looked for the way he said it himself, where he questioned the nationality of the killers before we now, you know, brought in, you know, the where he made a U-turn. Let's quickly run through the story on the 15 terrorism financiers and BDCs. All right, as we wrap things up on Open Forum today. Yes, I know that it is your show, but please stay with us. Let's just quickly put this out there as well. The federal government said it has uncovered identity of 15 entities, including 9 individuals and 6 bureau de change operators and firms allegedly involved in terrorism financing. Oh no. I closed the document there. All right. Okay, so anyways, what we have from that particular report now is there are some names that we have that have been put out, and also the names of the companies, was most notable in the names of the individuals we have here. Tukur Mamu, who, you know, was a negotiator.
Is the big one.
Who was a negotiator at the Abuja Kaduna scenario.
The issue here actually maybe is one small bold step that the current administration has taken, which the former president did not take. But all of us are just looking. If you name them, what has happened to them? I mean, offenders, when offenders are known, it's assumed that before you publish their name, you have all your facts, you know, on ground. And having taken those facts into consideration, it's not just naming them we want to hear now, that they are now in the custody of the agencies that are responsible for it. That is the bold step we want the government to take. Because terrorism in Nigeria today is at the highest point. And that would mean that government should spare no efforts as reining in the sponsors and even terrorists themselves. So if you have find them, there's no excitement naming them.
There have been some recommendations as regards sanctions that should follow.
Yes, I was looking at that grammar yesterday. I don't know. What you do, pick them up and interrogate them.
The Nigeria Sanctions Committee met. They came together on Monday and recommended sanctions for these names. And as we all know that Tᴏɪᴜᴛ has actually been he's been investigated. Yes, he's been investigated.
Prosecution itself.
At the moment, anyways. So I think that about that. But then participate. I mean, we all know the gravity of all of this. There are names here that we have. We have Tᴏɪᴜᴛ. We have a name here: Yusuf Ghazali, Mohammed Sani, Salamdin, Hassan, Abubakar, Mohammed. Also have some BDC companies that have been named: West and East African General Trading Company, Settings, G-Side, Desert Exchange, Eagle Square, Alpha Exchange, BDC. Now, for these companies, just as you mentioned, now it's not just about naming them.
Exactly.
What comes after, naming
them?
After the naming, I'm even more concerned because there's a difference. I hope it's not that. I don't know if you remember, Matthew Kodwa, some 2 years ago when some orders were no, not the UAE story actually. There was 150 or 57 others or so that were pardoned. Till tomorrow, we don't know the names of these 100 and something others that were pardoned. We only have about 2 names that stood out for us as regards names that were mentioned. But here we now have names of suspected terrorism financiers we had been expecting, and just having 15 out of what was reportedly supposed to be the number of people that we can. These are people that we're not really familiar with these names here now. Okay, thank you very much, Oᴜᴜᴜ. Yes, just sent in something that could, buttress the conversation. But then, sanctions that can be put in place as regards terrorism financiers. And I'm also going to ask this very sensitive question as well, as regards, the mystery around Sheikh Gumi and his involvement with these people. Some people are calling.
He's a friend.
Okay.
Of Mamu. You cannot start drawing up the nexus between how he's free with the terrorists and his relationship with Mamu. And fine, you may draw a nexus and say, okay, this is close ties with these people might be connected to his relationship with Mamu. So look at it, look around there and find out that he may not be completely be innocent.
Well, what I have here, as I mentioned earlier, Oᴜᴜᴜ just sent me a clip. I have here that controversial Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Gumi has disagreed with the federal government over its recently released list of those linked to terrorism financing in the country. And what we have now from this particular one is this is just a lot as regards that. But reacting to this development now, Gumi faulted the list, explained that the security agencies had no right to label anyone a terrorist financier.
You see, he was not labeled, or he has not been labeled.
Okay, thank you.
Then those who have been labeled have not spoken, and the man who is not labeled is now trying to will I say attack the security agencies. So I'm telling you, but that's it. As at yesterday, based on the interviews the Mainland FM had with him and the rest of them, I wanted to build that there was just a respected cleric and adherents of the faith, the Islamic faith, probably respect him. That's why they have to open up to him. But with the relationship he was said to have with Mamu, and he's defending them.
Yes,
he's open to some questioning.
Okay,
you understand what I'm saying? It's open to some
questioning. I do, because his claim now is that no Nigerian would finance terrorism. adding that terrorists are financing their operations with monies made from ransom collected from kidnapped victims' families. He said, and I quote, "No Nigerian will put his money into terrorism. We are beyond that. These people are financing themselves by taking our children for ransom." So how can we say some people are financing terrorism? Because there's a misunderstanding between them. He added that now they are looking for 1 billion for these children to be released. They, that's the terrorists, finance themselves by kidnapping. I think it's rubbish to just frame your political opponents as financing terrorism.
Mamo is not a known politician.
So this has raised a big question as regards the integrity of Sheikh Gumi.
Exactly. That's a dark spot there that we want to clear.
All right, because someone.
I hope we'll be able to
use the word enabler.
We'll make him to put more light on that maybe before the week runs out. In some of our programs.
Yes.
And he will tell us why he said so. But we may not condemn him right away. Or we will not even condemn. We only give you room to explain his connection.
Because now we have a lot of questions. Now, there's a lot of questions around that one. I will see if...
But you're talking about enabler.
Yes, that word, enabler.
Enabler means that you help. You make the thing happen for the person. That's just it. You enable them to do their job. I mean, in quote now.
Because we had a report also that even NFIU hasn't really given much.
Just quiet.
The NFIU, that's National Financial
Intelligence
Unit. Thank you. National Financial Intelligence Unit haven't given any statement per se. As regards the 15 names. This is federal government now pushing out the identity of 15 entities now. So and then we have Sheikh Gumi rushing in to the media and giving all of these statements. All right, saying that Mamu's case is still in court, so let's wait to hear from the court. It's wrong to resort to media trial, and who declares someone a terrorist financier? Is it the court of law or a security agency? The security agency has no right to declare anyone a terrorist financier. The case is already in court, so why are they judging him on the pages of the newspaper? Once the case is in court, you allow the court to decide. Well, these are the issues anyways. But then also I have here, just very quickly as we wrap things up. Yes, thank you. Also have here the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit has confirmed an exclusive on the designation of 15 entities, including 9 individuals and 6 BDCs. So, confirming the report, the spokesperson for NFIU, Sani Tukur, noted that the designations were approved by the President and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi. So Mr. Tukur, Madam Tukur said, and I quote, "I just want to provide an update and context to the issue of designation of terrorism financiers. It wasn't actually a statement from the NFIU, but a release by the Nigerian Sanctions Committee. However, the NFIU is the secretariat of the committee. Hence, the email that was used by the committee to send to the subscribers. It is a requirement that once analysis is done and persons and entities are designated as financiers, such is published on the website of the Sanctions Committee immediately. Once it is so published, all subscribers will receive it, and the procedure for the designation is such that once persons are determined to be financiers, the list is sent to the President for approval through the AGF. So that is the NFIU finally coming forward as regards, confirming these names that we have here. Tukur Mamu, Yusuf Ghazali, Mohammed Sani, Abubakar Mohammed, Salamuddin Hassan, Adamu Ishak, Hassana Oyiza, Isa, Abdul Karim Musa, Umar Abdullahi, while we have 6 BDCs and firms that are already mentioned earlier on. Of course, Tukur Mamu is always currently being tried by the federal government for allegedly aiding the terrorists who attacked the Abuja-Kaduna train in March 2022. Well, it's very unfortunate. There's a lot to talk about, but then we try to squeeze all of these stories into 2 hours as much as possible. Unfortunately, we may not be able to take a lot of reactions to this one, but let's see. We can take one. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Yes.
My greeting to your guests in the studio.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
My name is Mr. James from Agbado Junction.
All right, Mr. James. Very quickly, please.
Very quickly, my point in the list of those financing the terrorists in Nigeria. If I tell you that I'm not convinced one bit of that is, no, she won't be, because there was a list sent to our former president General Buhari during his time, and that particular list has not been made public. I believe that is the original financier of all these terrorist groups in Nigeria.
What if this is part of it? Have you seen the previous list?
The current one, I have seen the current one. We have the list.
Have you seen the one that was sent to former President Buhari? Did you?
We haven't seen it. That is why, because I know if that one should be made open.
So exactly.
That's why I say if that one should be made open, people will be more surprised, because the name you will see there is the name that from popular politicians we must definitely be there. I know.
But you've not.
Thank you very much.
All right.
That is my point.
Thank you very much. I appreciate. We'll close off with that one. So, Matthew Okodwa, very quickly.
Yeah, I think starting from that last caller.
Yes.
I think the problem we have is the government has trust deficit.
The people have trust deficit in the government.
Yes, they have trust deficit. The first thing is for us to trust government, or government should make us to trust them.
Thank you.
So that when they say something, we believe them. Without that, we always doubt them. And once you doubt them, that give us your support. May not just come like that.
All right, well, that's a wrap for today on Open Forum. Like we always say, Open Forum is designed for you, our dear listener, to join the conversation. 2 hours just for the listener to share their contributions as regards the hot topics of the week. And it's a wrap for today. Join us again next week, Thursday by 1 p.m. It's open forum rather. My name is Omobola Sandra. Coming up next is Afro Timeout with Jadan, and after that we have the Situation Room with Okweyemi Akinyodi, and then after that we have the main bulletin of the day by 5:30. You do not want to miss any one of this. This is Milan 98.3 FM, where the conversation never stops. My name is Omobola Sandra. See you next week.